Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I play every series of videos I do for a little while. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I could use a little energy, so why not? But we'll get to that. Folks, it is a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yam around about for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing today? Well, it's got a few crumbs on it. Boom! It's my Sega Dreamcast shirt, which I love this shirt. It's such a cool thing, like, with the whole, like, sort of, the whole layout of it and stuff. If you are unfamiliar with the Sega Dreamcast, because you are not 850 billion years old like I am, Sega Dreamcast was a video game system that was the last home console produced by the company Sega. And again, if you're my age, well, Sega has, hopefully, a lot of fondness. They had their runs. They actually, if you're in North America like me, well, USA specifically, chances are your first real interaction with them was probably through the Sega Genesis, but of course, they actually had some systems before that. They had the Sega Master System, and before that, even the SG-1000. But most people knew them from the Genesis or the Mega Drive, depending on what part of the world you were in. Eventually, they moved on. They had the 32X, the Sega CD, which were eventually onto the Sega Saturn, which was a nice system, but it had issues. And the Dreamcast sadly ended up being their swan song. It was a truly magnificent little system that just came out kind of at the wrong time, man. Sega was kind of already on their last leg. This was supposed to be, their big final huzzah, to try to kind of turn things around. It just wasn't going to happen, unfortunately. And it's a shame because it is a really great system for people like me who grew up with it. I think we all think back very fondly on it, and I certainly still do. One of my favorite games of all time, Jet Set Radio, or Jet Grind Radio, depending on where you're at, happens to be on this system. That is one of my feel-good games when if I just want to play something, Jet Grind Radio. I need to get a Jet Grind Radio shirt. I know what I'm going to do later. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why do I need energy? Boom! It's this! It's Bing! Specifically, this is Bing Crisp from Petey's, and it is made with apple and cherry juice. It has B vitamins, vitamin C, caffeine, and ginseng beverage. It's a little energy drink from Denver, Colorado. I believe, let's see, does it have the thing still? Where's the thing? This one, okay, so I went over there, I reviewed one of their other flavors. It was their black flavor, which was blackberry flavored. And that had 120 milligrams of caffeine. This one actually only has 100 milligrams of caffeine, which is, to be fair, and now it also has 100 milligrams of ginseng, so. But anyway, yeah, so I have already tried one of their flavors. I think I got these from Jewel, if I'm not mistaken, which is a supermarket chain in Illinois. And I always like to try out new energy drinks, so let's give this one a go. I really like the black one. Go watch my video if you want my full interpretation of that, but I really did enjoy that one. So hopefully this one's really good too. Smells good. Ooh. Ooh. I do like it, first and foremost. And I like their logo. That's a cool logo. I do like it. I'm a big fan of both apple and cherry flavors, so there's no reason for me to not like that combination. Although I don't really think of it as being a combination, like a common combination of flavors. But it works pretty nicely, and you can definitely taste both aspects. Now, the thing is, with the blackberry one, I really enjoyed it. It had like a nice tartness to it, made it feel very refreshing and, very kind of vibrant. This has it as well, but the thing is, I wasn't exactly expecting it because apple and cherry, like blackberry, fair enough, a little bit of a tartness to a blackberry. With the apple and the cherry, apple, typically not tart, but it can be. Green apple, of course. And then cherry, again, not typically tart, but then it can be, for sure. Hell, back when I was a kid, the house that I grew up in, we had a fucking cherry tree. And it was like, woo, cherry tree. And it was like, the cherries were just super tart. Like, if you were going to use them in anything, you pretty much had to, like, just gob sugar on it because otherwise it'd just be way too tart. But, like, my stepmom at the time, who sucked and was a terrible person, but she could go over there and make a good cherry crumble. And she was able to do that. She was also able to go over there and, empty out the bank account, all the money that we had saved, go piss away on gambling so that I couldn't go to college. I'm not salty about it. At this point, I'm not, but, I for everything that happened, and I'm just going into my own personal bullshit, for everything that happened, I do hope, I guess, that she's maybe doing well or something. I don't know. I'm not quite evolved enough as a person to completely forgive her for all of her bullshit. But anyway, that nonsense aside, yeah, I wasn't expecting like the tartness the same, but it's definitely there. I would say I think the apple is probably the more prominent flavor, but the cherry definitely runs through it. And I will definitely say the crisp aspect is definitely the case here. It has a nice, crisp, refreshing flavor. Same kind of thing with the blackberry one. These are just really nice. And in the blackberry review, I went over there. I mentioned the fact they kind of remind me a little bit of like Red Bull, but less ass. Because Red Bull is fine, and some of their flavors are actually really good, to be fair. Um, but like once you get past whatever they're flavoring it with, you still have fundamentally Red Bull. And Red Bull as a flavor is not my favorite thing in the world. With these, excuse me, they definitely have a baseline flavor, but it's much more palatable. It doesn't taste chemically, it doesn't have like a weird aftertaste or anything. The most you really seem to get is just that sharpness, that tartness, which I don't know if that's characteristic of all of their products or, maybe I just found the two that do. But it is very good. Like, genuinely, I like this a lot. That tartness does hit you. It's not, the tartness isn't throughout, though. It hits you kind of at the end, and you're like, okay, it's a little tartness, and then, like, at the very end, you get, like, a little extra, and your eye goes all squinty. But no, it's really nice. Um, I will say, I think I prefer the blackberry one over this one. Just because in the case with the blackberry, it was one flavor. It was just, let's focus on that blackberry. And I think that's what really kind of made it work for me to such a degree. Whereas with this one, apple and cherry are both great flavors, but I kind of feel like it maybe would have been better as just one or the other. I don't mind them as a combination, mind you, but it's just I'm not getting. It's one of those things where like the combination isn't as good as the sum of either of the parts, which is maybe the reason why you don't see apple and cherry as like a regular combination type of thing. But it is still really good. Like I don't have any big gripes with it or anything, other than the fact that, like I said, it's just one of those things. I feel like if it were just cherry flavored or just apple flavored, I might like it a little bit more. But it is still a very good drink. Now, all that said, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I'm going to go with yes and yes. But here's the thing. So far, Bing is 2 for 2. I've really enjoyed both of their drinks that I've enjoyed. And I like a lot of things about them. Like I said, I like the fact that they have that nice, they definitely know what they're doing. They want these to be a very drinkable energy drink. They don't want it to feel heavy or anything like that. And I think they do a really good job. In fact, I think they do one of the best jobs out of any energy drink brand that I've had, and I've had more than most people ever will in their entire lives. So I have to give them credit in that regard. I think that they do a very good job with it. Only thing is, again, I do like the blackberry one more than I like this one. I was hoping for really, really great things with this. And while I do still really like it, didn't quite hit those levels, but still definitely a good product. If I'm going over there and recommending it to people other than myself, I mean, I would say, honestly, this one might be a little bit more easy for me to recommend. I personally prefer the blackberry one, but that is very much centered around whether or not you like, that general flavor profile. With this, I feel like it's a little bit more easy to get into. Apple and cherry are both pretty easy flavors for people to go with. So I might actually recommend this one a little bit more just because it's like, yeah, it's a little bit more approachable. But overall, very good. And I think I might have one or two more in the fridge. I'd have to go check, but I'm definitely looking forward to tasting the rest of their stuff. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of the day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month. Spend this rest of your folks. You go over there, have yourselves a truly apple cherry-tastic rest of your life. But like maybe separate. I think they both do their best work separate. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do all the time, I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there with you in it. And, at the end of the day, man, life is frustrating and stressful and bullshitty sometimes. It just is. I didn't bring it up in this particular review. Well, I was going to go on a little bit of a tangent, but then I realized I'd already gone on a tangent earlier in my review when I was talking about my former stepmom. Yeah, that lady. But at the end of the day, when we do deal with situations in our life that are stressful, frustrating, or extremely bullshit, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there, maybe, you know what, I'm going to try to be the bigger person in this. Folks, maybe if you have somebody in your life who is dealing with any type of addiction, hopefully you can go over there and assist them in whatever ways that you can, within reason, to hopefully get over that. Because as much as, and I've sadly had to deal with personal effects from multiple people in my lives dealing with different addictions, I have also seen some of those people overcome their addictions and become better people for it. So I will not ever tell anybody to go over there and give somebody who is dealing with anything like that an infinite amount of karma with which to deal with it. Because nobody is allowed an infinite amount of leeway. Okay? At the end of the day, you're a person, you have to be responsible for your actions. But when we can, try to be patient, try to help out where we can, and try to understand that it isn't going to be a simple thing. It's just not. Like I said, dealing with the situation with my stepmom was what it was. She's living her life doing what the fuck ever she's doing. I don't know. I don't care anymore. But like I said, I have had other people closer to my lives who are, some of them are still in my life. Some who've overcome stuff, some who are still struggling from time to time. And like I said, it is important that we go over there. Try not to go over there and cast them in too negative a light if we can help it. So this one got a little bit heavy, but it did. Or conversely, no, I think that's a pretty good. And like I said, you don't have to give them infinite chances. That is something that personally I had to learn myself on multiple occasions. Sometimes you just have to drop off because you need to be good for you. Anyway, bye.